Hello, faculty and staff. It is time to welcome our scholars back into the school building for the remainder of this school year. I hope you're excited, just like I am, to see those wonderful scholars and their smiling faces. Now, this video will be dealing with the reentry plan for dealing with our scholars and any discipline concerns that we may have. Hopefully you review our RTI 2B behavior plan and make sure that you have your classroom expectations, that you're familiar with the virtual expectations that we've been using, our hallway expectations, cafeteria expectations, and restroom expectations. Again, make sure that you do review our RTIB behavior plan. Now, your Bitmoji classroom should have the classroom expectations listed already. That was one of the things that we recommended to you early on in the school year, that you do have your classroom expectations on your Bitmoji classroom. A physical classroom expectations poster needs to be placed in the classroom as well. We don't know if we'll have any visitors that will be coming to check to make sure those things are in place. So please make sure you do have a physical classroom expectations poster in your classroom. It could be just on a sheet of copy paper or something just a little bit bigger that could be noticed, but we do need to have those posted. Some of you have your posters from last year, so make sure you pull those out and post them, because again, we don't know if we'll have any visitors from the district or from the state. Now, if you need a copy of the RTI Squared B behavior plan, please let me know. I can get a copy sent to you as soon as possible. Now, it's recommended as well that those grade levels that are departmentalized, that you have the same expectations, because we want those scholars to know that no matter which teacher they are with, that the same thing will be expected from them. So nothing will change, even though the teacher changes. The expectations will be the same. Now, these are our school-wide expectations. Be safe, be responsible, be respectful. Copy of our virtual setting expectations. Now, these are our hallway expectations. You've probably seen posters of those in the hallway. And each poster that you is placed in the area where it will be noticed by those scholars and any visitors in the building. Please make sure that you review these expectations with your scholars as they return to the school building. Now, your classroom expectations, this is just for safety reasons. Make sure that your students remain in their assigned seats at all times. There shouldn't be a lot of movement around the classroom. You may want to have a cup of pencils at desks or tables, or to limit movement or limit the contact of possible contact between scholars. Make sure your scholars are using the same seat every day. If you have your seats numbered or labeled, make sure that those scholars are, again, they're using the same seat every day. They should not be switching seats. We want them sitting next to the same people each day, and that would help with contact tracing. Teachers, you will be the only ones to transition at the end of each block, and those are for those grades that are departmentalized. So students will not be transitioning from classroom to classroom. Only the teachers will be transitioning at the end of each block. The scholar's classroom seat number will also coordinate with their seat in the cafeteria. Make sure you remind students that when in the cafeteria, they are to sit next to the scholars that they sit next to in class. And again, this is to make contact tracing, if necessary, much easier. So if we have a scholar that becomes ill and it is determined that they do have COVID, and we hope that that does not happen, that we know what scholars they've been around and who they've been in contact with. So we want to make sure that they're next to the same people each day. Here's some examples. You can see a classroom here that has good spacing with the partitions being used, and set up of cafeteria tables where we have one person in an area or sectioned off. We have two people on each side. You see there's enough space where they can be apart from each other. All right, become familiar with the behavior flow chart. Know what is classroom managed. Know what is office managed. We have struggled with those two in the past. Please make sure that you know what behaviors are classroom managed, that you as the classroom teacher should be handling, and know what is office managed, which behaviors or incidences should be sent to the office immediately. Um, if you don't have a copy of the behavior flow chart, make sure you do contact Ms. Fowler White and she will get one to you. Also, be sure to follow the behavior flow chart before you refer to the school counselor, Ms. Pryor, or administration. You should not, at the first instance of an incident, contact Ms. Pryor or one of the school counselors, or call to the front office if it's determined that that behavior is classroom managed. Examples of classroom managed or versus office managed. These are just some examples. Make sure that you are handling those classroom managed behaviors in the order that they would be on the behavior flow chart. Now, if you need to make a counselor referral, uh, you send a discipline referral to Ms. Brookins or myself, you will receive a form to complete outlining the steps you took prior to the referral. So we want to make sure that we can document these are the things that you did before you sent them to the counselor, so that when we communicate with the parent, they know exactly what took place and what steps we as a staff took before we even carried out the final uh, judgment. Now, this is not just something extra. This is also what we, Ms. Brookins and I, would need to document um, in the Brightbyte system. So we've been using that. This is the second year that the system, well, third year that the system would be in place. So this is not just something extra. This helps Ms. Brookins and myself, and also administration as well, because they will be able to see when they communicate with the parents what steps were taking place, and what you tried to do, and if you were able to communicate with the parents and what the result of that communication was before they were sent to the office. All right, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can contact me or Ms. Fowler White at any time. I thank you, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful school year.